What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a look at Metal Gear Solid, the Snake Eater remake here, running on the Legion Go. And really, this one's been tough on all the handhelds, and there's optimization issues across the board with PC and consoles and the like, and there's certainly plenty to talk about all that online. But I still wanted to finish taking a look at this on some of the handhelds anyway, and how it's performing, and how it's really going to look and play if you do decide to kind of dive into it. Now, we are running on the newest drivers from Lenovo, because fortunately they did get us an update that got us a little bit closer here with July 1 dated drivers, so things have been running a little bit better here as far as the settings for the game. Full screen, 1200p and 800p, although we're pretty much going to want to go 800. You can select 30 or 60 FPS as your option. You have FSR or TSR. I'm going to stick with FSR, performance and balanced here, and then low for the settings. No motion blur, depth of field or anything here for that. So as we get into that with 1200p, 25 watts, which is what I stuck with here. We can go up to 30, but I didn't gain enough to be worth it while in handheld mode. But we're going to be in the 20s and 30s most of the time at these settings, but things do obviously look pretty rough at low FSR performance on here, and it just doesn't look great or feel great to play through. If we were able to bump things up to medium, the game would look so much better, but you're just not able to get the performance you need unless you're really going to play 15 to 25 FPS, because this is just a snapshot in one area and different levels are going to play differently. So going back to those low settings with FSR performance here, gets us close to 30 FPS in this area. And again, we bounce between 25 and 35 depending on where we're at least in my first 2 to 3 hours and messing around with some different levels here. But yeah, it's not the greatest experience. I guess you would call it playable, because you can technically get in and get enough frame rate and stuff to be playable, but it is a bit disappointing, as I have seen games, just newer games running and looking much better than this, even on the handhelds, lower end hardware and that type of thing. Now, if we go to 800p, we do get about 4 to 6 FPS more, depending on where you're at on average. So that does help out a good bit when you're trying to get every little bit that you can. I am using FSR balanced, and so I toned that down from performance, which means we have a little bit more overhead, but I don't want to use too much upscaling since we did go to 800p here. But even at this, if we go over to those medium settings, we only get about 4 FPS, so 26, and of course that's going to change depending on where we're at. So still can't really bump things up even with the 800p and the upscaling, which means we basically do get stuck with very low these settings no matter what we do on this device and all the other handhelds, and it's just not the best looking experience for this game, and I wouldn't really enjoy playing through it this way. Though if it was the only way you had to play, at least it is playable as far as just performance and frame rate in general. It's just not the best looking or best feeling experience as you go through it on these. On my PC, where I'm able to bump things up on my 4060 Ti, it is better, but the game does have its issues, odd performance things and stuff like that, and it's had some odd things on console as well. So it's not the best remake or port here, but hopefully they'll make some patches and get things smoothed out. And I'd love to see some settings to get us in otherwise, maybe some better looking lower settings. But anyways, guys, I'll leave it at that. Leave you with a little bit more gameplay. Thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Different from simply changing the clip. This reload time is exhilarating. My technique? Perfect. Damn it. He found us.